The moment I figured out my older brother still had a key to my condo wasn't when the world cracked open. It was the moment I realized some people will pick every lock just to prove they still own you. I'd walk in after a 12-hour shift and find the TV paused on a game I never started. Takeout containers I didn't order cooling on the counter. My couch cushions dented in the exact shape of his lazy sprawl. The whole place felt like it was holding its breath waiting for him to come back. Most folks swear blood excuses everything. They say it's love when someone kicks down every door you try to close. Me? I learned that love can look a whole lot like possession if you let it. And the second I vanished without a trace, that's when my real life finally started. I used to think personal space was easy, automatic. You say back off. And decent humans back off. But in my family, back off just sounded like a dare. That's probably why, at 31, my stomach still dropped every time Noah flashed on my phone. Or whenever mom went into that syrupy voice that meant to make me feel like the selfish one. Growing up, my room was basically a bus station door always open. Everybody welcome. Mom would drift in, flipping through my sketchbooks, reading half-finished song lyrics out loud like she was doing me a favor. You're so secretive, Ethan. She'd sigh, as if my need for a corner of the world that was only mine was a real problem. Dad just stayed out of it, same way he always did, claiming he didn't want to rock the boat. Meanwhile, my little sister Chloe got the princess suite with the lock on the inside. Got told her chaos was artistic, got away with everything. I got lectures and random bag searches to kids to completely different rulebooks. Guess which one was mine? So when I finally scraped together enough for a little loft in Austin exposed brick, 10th floor view of the river, plants I actually kept alive I thought I'd escaped. I picked out my own mugs, hung Edison bulbs that made the whole place glow like late-night diner vibes. And for the first time ever I could hear myself think. Then one Sunday I came home from a hike, and the smell of mom's chili hit me in the hallway. She was standing at my stove in an apron she definitely didn't find in my drawer, humming like this was still her kitchen. Noah was kicked back in my gaming chair, feet on my desk, scrolling through my Spotify. Surprise, mom chirped. We were in the neighborhood. Noah didn't even look up, just smirked and said, "Nice view, bro. You should have told us you moved up in the world." I told myself it was one time. I told myself next time I'd hide the spare key better. There's no next time with my family, there's only again and again. And why are you so dramatic? Drawers got rearranged to help, my mail got accidentally opened. Chloe started crashing on my couch whenever 6th Street got too rowdy, leaving glitter and empty white claws like fairy dust. I'd find my guitar tuned to chords I never play. My half-written songs saved over with Noah's gaming clips. Every little invasion was small enough to swallow, big enough to choke on when you added them all up. Mom called it looking out for you. Dad called it family privilege. I was supposed to smile and say thank you, except it wasn't their name on the lease, it was mine. And I could already feel them carving pieces off it until nothing was left. It crept in the way mold does, quiet, patient, impossible to scrub out once it's rooted. I'd get home, and one cabinet would be ajar. My coffee beans suddenly lived on a different shelf. The towels I fold like a burrito were now stacked like hotel corners, tiny fingerprints of control. Then one night I opened the fridge and everything had been rearranged into mom's system: veggies top, meat middle. Anything fun buried in the back like it was ashamed of my emergency pizzas. Gone, replaced with Tupperware labeled in her handwriting, Ethan's real food. I stood there letting freezer burn hit my face while it sank in. This wasn't help. This was slow motion eviction from my own life. Chloe treated the place like an airbend. She never had to book rings of foundation on my bathroom counter. Her iced lattes sweating on my notebooks. My favorite hoodie disappearing into her suitcase by accident. I asked her to stop, she laughed, flicked her hair, said, "God, Ethan, it's literally just a hoodie. You're acting like I burned the place down." The final straw came on a random Tuesday. I dragged myself home bone-tired, dreaming of silence, and found my laptop wide open on the kitchen island. Browser tabs I never opened, Spotify blasting Noah's trash playlist, and worst of all, my demo folder open. One track paused halfway like someone got bored judging whether I was any good. I called mom, she answered on the first ring. Already defensive. "Ethan, relax, the front desk knows me. I told them you've been ghosting everyone, and I was worried sick. Worried sick, right? Mom, you pretended to be me to get past security. I was checking on my son. You live like a hermit." That word checking felt like handcuffs clicking shut. I hung up and slid down the cabinet until I was sitting on the cold tile. Memories slamming into me. Her reading my texts over my shoulder. In high school, tracking my location for safety. Showing up at my first dates with Tupperware because he doesn't feed you enough, same pattern. New address. Next day I called out sick. Found a therapist on ZocDoc. And blurted the whole thing between panicked breaths. She listened without flinching, then said the sentence that changed everything. Ethan, this isn't love. It's colonization. Your home isn't a safe base, it's occupied territory, colonization. The word landed like a fist. She told me I needed distance that couldn't sweet talk or guilt their way across. Not a conversation, distance, the kind you measure in miles and deadbolts. That night I sat at my kitchen counter with a six-pack getting warm, and typed high security apartments Austin into Google like a man planning a prison break. From the wrong side. I found a tower downtown, retina scanners at the garage, 24-hour concierge, who don't smile at sob stories, elevators that won't move without your fob, a fortress disguised as luxury living. I turned it at sunrise, stood in an empty Unit 22. Floors up, watched the river catch fire with pink light, and signed the lease before the coffee got cold. The move was surgical, no warning, no tearful goodbye scene for Mom to weaponize. Just me and my two real friends, Leo and Sam, packing in the dark like we were stealing my own life back. We whispered even though no one could hear us, box memories. I didn't want them touching, left behind the amp Noah borrowed 2 years ago. The dishes Mom bought because mine were depressing. At 3 a.m. the truck pulled away quiet as a getaway car. I dropped the old key in the outgoing mail slot, no note, no forwarding address. Nothing they could trace. The new concierge handed me a matte black fob like it was Excalibur and said, "Welcome home, Mr. Carver." The door clicked shut behind me, and for the first time in 31 years the silence had my name on it. I disappeared on purpose, not to punish them, but to finally meet myself when no one else was in the room. Those first 72 hours I kept my phone in a drawer like it was radioactive. I walked barefoot across cold concrete, made coffee, without wondering who'd move the mugs. Slept 10 hours straight without dreaming of footsteps in the hallway. It felt like lungs remembering how to work. Then Monday morning I flipped the phone over and the screen exploded, hundreds of missed calls. Texts, voicemails layered like shrapnel. Mom, Noah, Chloe. Even my aunt I haven't spoken to in 6 years. Ethan, pick up, this isn't funny. We're calling the cops. Chloe posted a tear streak selfie. Pray for my brother, he's missing, and I'm scared, missing. I almost choked laughing. Then the unknown number rang. Mr. Carver, Officer Mendez, Austin PD. Are you safe right now? My heart free fell, but I kept my voice level. I'm great, actually. What's going on? We had a situation at your previous address. Family members tried to gain entry. New residents thought it was a home invasion. Of course they did. My family never learned how to knock. I told the officer I'd come in. Walking into that fluorescent interview room felt like stepping onto a stage I never auditioned for. Mom was crying so hard her mascara ran gray. Noah pacing like a caged animal. Chloe hugging herself in the corner, looking small for once. The second Mom saw me, she launched out of the chair. Ethan, oh my God, we thought you were dead. Under the hysteria, I heard the same old accusation, you did this to me. I stayed by the door. I'm alive. You shouldn't have been in my old place, Noah muttered. It's not your place anymore, genius. Officer Mendez walked in. Calm as lake water. Everybody sit. Mom collapsed like a bad actress, clutching tissues. I waited for the chair farthest from them. We need to confirm you're safe since a missing person report was filed. I'm not missing, I said. I relocated. Mom's mouth fell open. Without telling your mother? The hurt in her voice used to shred me. Now it just sounded like a broken record. Chloe rolled her eyes. If you just answered your phone, this wouldn't be a circus. Officer Mendez raised an eyebrow. Let's talk about the circus. Witnesses say 3 people tried to force entry. 1 attempted to climb the balcony. Noah rubbed his neck. I was trying to see if he was hurt inside by breaking and entering. Mom wailed. We were terrified. I looked at her steadily. You were trespassing. The officer asked if I wanted to document the boundary violations. Mom gasped like I'd slapped her. She's my baby, and you're strangers to that apartment, Mendez said without raising her voice. The word strangers hit harder than any yelling could. Dad finally spoke, voice hoarse. We messed up, Ethan. But the police? You called the police, I said quietly. I just answered. Then I laid it out. No unannounced visits, no spare keys, no pop-ins, meetings only in public. No access to my accounts, mail, nothing. Dad called it extreme. I called it oxygen. One by one they signed the paper like it burned their fingers. Mom whispered. I miss when you needed me. I folded the agreement, slid it into my pocket. I still need you. Just not inside my life without an invitation. Walking out into that Texas heat felt like breaking the surface. After years underwater, the weeks after were soft sunlight, pouring across wide plank floors, coffee that stayed where I put it, a door that stayed locked because I said so. We meet now at coffee shops with lots of witnesses and easy exits. Mom fidgets with her cup like she's scared to spill. Noah actually asks before touching my phone. Chloe texts instead of showing up. It's not perfect, but for the first time my space is mind body, mind and mailing address. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is lock the door and swallow the only key. If you've ever had to move mountains just to get breathing room from the people who claim to love you most, drop your story below. You're not crazy, you're not ungrateful, and you're definitely not alone. Asterisk, that moment of quiet after the station didn't feel like victory. It felt like the first full breath after being underwater for 31 years in my new tower. The mornings were golden and slow. I'd slide open the blinds and let the Austin sunlight flood across the concrete floors, bounce off the river, and paint the whole place in warm honey. No mystery footsteps, no passive-aggressive post-it notes on the fridge, no waking up to find my guitar picks rearranged by helpfulness. Just the soft hum of the city 22 floors down, and the knowledge that every square inch in here belonged only to me. My family actually stuck to the agreement, which still shocks me some days. We meet at a little spot on South Congress with outdoor tables and plenty of strangers around. Neutral ground feels safer for everyone. Mom shows up 10 minutes early now, clutching her latte like a life raft, asking careful questions instead of bulldozing answers. Noah listens more than he talks. And when he just opens his mouth, it's usually "How have you been?" instead of "You should really." Chloe surprised me the most. Getting questioned by actual cops seems to have sanded off some of her sharp edges. She texts before she even thinks about swinging by town. Texts like a normal human. It's not storybook perfect. Holidays are still a careful dance of scheduling and exit strategies. And sometimes mom's eyes get that glassy, "You're breaking my heart" look when I remind her I'm not coming home for Sunday dinner. But the difference is I don't fold anymore. I just say, "I'll let you know when I'm free," and the world keeps spinning. The guilt still knocks, it just doesn't get let in. Some nights I sit on my balcony with a beer, city lights flickering below like spilled glitter, and I can actually hear my own thoughts without someone else's soundtrack playing over them. I write music again, real music, not the careful, quiet stuff I use to hide in password-protected folders. I leave notebooks open on the counter without panic. I sleep with the windows cracked and don't bolt upright at every creak in the hall. Healing isn't fireworks. Most days it's just the soft click of a deadbolt staying locked because nobody's testing it. It's making coffee exactly the way I like it and drinking it before anyone can tell me it's too much sugar. It's coming home to a space that still looks, smells, and feels like the version I left that morning. Simple stuff. Revolutionary stuff, looking back. Ghosting my old life wasn't cruel. It was the kindest thing I've ever done for myself. I didn't cut them out. I just stopped letting them live inside my walls run free. They're still family, still invited to the parts of me I choose to share. But the keys to the kingdom, those stay in my pocket now. If you've ever had to vanish, even for a minute, just to remember what your own voice sounds like, I see you. If you've had to build a moat out of no and silence and brand new locks, I'm proud of you. You're not broken for needing boundaries, you're brave for finally drawing them. Drop your story below. I read every single one, and if these kinds of survival tales help you feel less alone, hit subscribe. We're all out here learning how to take up the space we were always entitled to. You got this, asterisk.